What up, my Realtor family? It's me, Realtor Larry, here with another video about my real estate journey. I know it's been a week or two. It's probably been just 1 week since my last video, but this is kind of like a wrap-up video of my year in review, my 2020 in review, as far as goes my real estate journey. It has been an interesting journey. You've seen most of it. Like I said, I began this journey, at least documenting it video-wise, my journey, probably about 2 months ago. I decided to start documenting it, but I've actually been on my 2020 real estate journey when I got my license in June of this year, and I made everything official by July of this year. So technically, only for the past 5 months, that has been my experience. My real estate journey has been pretty much 5 to 7 months in the making since I passed the real estate license exam. And so, yeah, and it's been interesting. It's actually been a learning experience for me. It's been a growing experience for me. It's been something that has been unexpected than what I expected. I expected to come in and to be selling houses, but I didn't realize everything that I needed to do other than the book knowledge that I had gotten. So I just wanted to come and say I wanted to recap that information. But if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Realtor Larry Smith on Instagram, Realtor Larry Smith on Facebook. You can go to larrysmith.realtor, which is my National Association of Realtors website. So if you're looking for a home to buy, to purchase, to rent, to sell in the California state, which is where I am licensed, feel free to hit me up on any of those things. Contact me, go out to my website, find my information. We can connect and we can do what's best. My goal is to do what's in best interest of my client, because I do see it as though every person I'm helping is family, and I want them to get the best. This is a big decision, so I want them to get the best. So you can reach me at those places if you want to talk business, or if you want to coach and help me and give me some pointers and some tips. Those are ways to doing it. So whatever the case may be, I'm a new realtor, so I'm learning the ropes and I'm growing and getting better knowledge, at least more knowledge acclimated as I go on. Okay, so let's talk about my 2020 experience. Let's recap some things. Well, like I said, I finalized everything with my license in June and July of this year, and I was so happy because if you know my journey, you would know that it took me about a year to a year and a half to actually complete the courses to actually go and take the exam. And I wouldn't say it took that long to complete the courses. It took me that time to study to the level to where I felt competent enough to go and take the exam and pass it on the first time. I had taken the courses. I took them online. I had taken all the courses that I needed to do, which was principles, practice, and the finance course. So I'd taken them, passed the classes, passed the exams, but then I actually felt as though I needed more. And so I went above and beyond, and I actually took an in-person course that was kind of a crash course from the same company to kind of get a little bit more information, because I just wanted more information to feel comfortable. And then for probably after that, for about 6 months after that, about 5 to 6 months after that, I just studied and studied and studied. And I know people are thinking, why did it take 5 months for you to study and study and study? You have to understand, I also was working. I work at schools. I am a college professor, so I have to prepare for my classes. I have to teach my classes. I have to take my grades and do my assignment grades and all the other stuff. So I do actually have a full-time kind of job where I am a college professor, history professor. So that was taking up a lot of my time. Real estate was being put on the side burner. And so what I was doing is anytime I would get a spare moment, like if I had a couple of hours in between the class, I would study. On the weekends, I would study. A little bit before I would go to bed at night, I would study. So I was trying to retain and consume and gather information as though I was in school, like my students are in school for the history classes. I was doing the exact same thing. And so that's how I was doing. And so come time around, okay, I actually go and I take the test, and then I pass it. I passed it on the first attempt because I was actually, when I took the test, I was actually overconfident that I was going to pass it. Because being an educator for 18 years, I've been teaching on multiple levels from elementary school to college for 18 years. So I know how to be a good student, but I also am a good teacher, so I know how to learn stuff. I know how to acquire knowledge and facilitate learning it, using it, and teaching it. And so anyway, so I knew confidently after having studied and using my methodology that I was going to pass that test without any doubt. So I took it, went there confidently, passed it. And of course I had to go through my exams, all right? I had to go through my my background check. So I had to submit the paperwork for that. So when you look at, so I want to talk about my journey economically and other ways post all that. So I'm not going to count the money I spent for the courses. It does cost money to take the courses. And I'm not going to count the money that I spent to take the exam and all that, because I think that that's not really part of my journey. My real estate journey for me began in June or July of 2020. All right, so let's go there. So I really, have been learning a lot. That's been the bulk of my journey. One thing I can say for certain is that coming into this real estate game as a realtor, as an agent, you are not going to be fully comfortable in what you know. And I'm, like I said, I'm a 18-year educator. I'm a forever lifelong student. I am an avid reader. I am a very, very, very much a person who can learn something and learn to teach it really quickly and find methodologies I can use to teach it to other people to help them learn it. However, when I got the license, I knew information, but I didn't know what that information meant in practice. And I think that has to be kind of part of the real estate school, where they start giving people practice and seminar and kind of, while they're learning the materials, kind of learning as you are working in some kind of capacity, in some kind of way. I think that's a very powerful thing. But anyway, so I was unsure. So what I began doing is just reading through the stuff. I began learning the forums. I did a video about all of the forums. I've been learning the forums. I'm still reading over those. I've been going through to courses, and we'll talk about that because most of them, fortunately, through the National Association of Realtors, have been free to me as a member. But I've also paid for a course that I thought was very helpful as well in getting information. So like I said, I've been reading a lot. My primary book right now that I'm wrapping up reading is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It's through Keller Williams, Gary Keller, but it's actually been a helpful book. And so I've been reading that. You guys have seen me post this on Instagram. I'm still going through it because I'm not just a regular reader. I highlight, I take notes, I take notes, and I like to really gather information. That's the educator in me. That is the teacher in me. That is the student in me that loves to take notes and really gather information. So I've been dissecting that book as though it's the Bible, the real estate Bible. So that's been that. I've also been reading different articles and watching YouTube videos on real estate, right? I have been seeing different things. I've joined a Facebook real estate group. I am a member of my broker's real estate group, which is Keller Williams Shoreline in Seal Beach, California. So I've been following and learning and observing and getting to know stuff. And I've learned different things. I've grown from being a person who just got the real estate license to now knowing about calling cold listings, calling expired listings, calling things like that, and practicing different dialogues and different scripts, whereas before I had no clue about any of those things. I was like, a script. I was like, okay, I remember reading that at some point in my real estate educational experience, but I didn't really digest it, that you actually call people when the listing expired and ways of doing that. So I've been actually seeing people actually do those on YouTube. YouTube has been a phenomenal resource. Google has been a phenomenal resource. And of course, my broker and my association, the National Association of Realtors, California Association of Realtors, have been a very valuable, useful resource for me. All right, so what I came to after getting all that information and reading and learning and doing all this stuff is that I do need a mentor. And I would like to get a mentor, someone who is willing to, I know time is money, so I'm pretty sure that part of my commission would be given to this person for mentoring me. But whatever the case may be, I just want to learn the game. It doesn't have to be a long-term deal. It can be a 6 months mentorship where I'm learning, and as I'm learning, I'm selling, and as I'm selling, we're both profiting off of it, but I'm also getting useful information. I'm willing to have that type of arrangement because sometimes it costs money to gather knowledge. That's the whole game, This is not something that is just natural to everybody, and so it costs money sometimes to learn knowledge, and so I understand that. Speaking of money, when I add up my total, And I guess you can say I'm in the hole this because I haven't sold a house and earned money through the real estate. This is kind of a negative balance for me, but it's for the positives, okay? So I was paying $25 a month since I became a member working for the brokerage that I work for. It's $25 a month since July. That comes to $125. I've also been a member of the association. That's not free because that comes with MLS and all these other perks and bells and whistles. So that came out too, since I came late in the game. It was like July, August when I became a member. That was $719. And then of course the one webinar that I paid for was one that gave me the kind of connection with experienced agents, and they told how they do certain things, and actually it was pretty thorough. It was like a 3-day thing, and it was actually pretty thorough, and that came out to $49.99. So let's just say $50. So when you do the math of say 720, 125, that is $845, and then you do 50, and that's $895, or yeah, about $895. So almost $900 is where I am, I guess you would say, in the hole within my real estate career. So I have to sell a house, right? Once I sell a house, I'll be able to take care of that beforehand without having to necessarily take it out of my own personal finance from my jobs. Because my goal with this is to be able to do this as part of my full-time income, of me being part of the income that I use of being self-employed. So nearly $900 is where I am. And I don't take it as a negative. I take it as I've learned stuff from it. I've gotten valuable stuff and courses and things from being a member of the association. And my brokerage is actually pretty good, useful information. In fact, they're the ones who recommended this book, right? I had never heard of this book, and I actually took a free course through my brokerage about this book, and I got the book for free. So it was kind of a cool thing. I got the help that I needed. So let me know. I don't know who else is going through this same experience. I'd like to hear from you. Maybe we can work together, we can talk together, we can learn together. I would love to do that. Those of you who follow me and who are in the real estate game, or who thinking about getting in the real estate game, or who have been for years in the real estate game, I'd like to hear from you. Those of you who know, is it normal within your first 7 months or less, 5 months really, within your first 5 months to not sell anything? Is that a normal thing, or do agents just pop in there all of a sudden and start selling? And I know I've seen people say, well, it just depends on your initial initiative and how much you do. But, like I said, coming into this, I wasn't fully aware of everything, and I was learning as I was going. So this is a new game for me. This is not a field that I've always been in. And so obviously it's something new for me. So that's pretty much it. It's been an exciting year in the real estate game. As I've been watching the news, which I've been told to do, I've been seeing that prices of homes are going up, which means eventually I'm sure interest rates and things are going to go down, and people are going to start buying homes, and hopefully I'm in that game selling homes, making that commission. And it's not all about commission. It's just you're helping people to live a dream. And a dream of home ownership is kind of the American dream, or at least very much part of the American dream. So that's what I want to be a part of, and just really just helping people secure that dream while at the same time securing the commission. So yeah, so it's been a fantastic year. I look forward to 2021 being a year where we move forward. And you also have to remember too, one thing before I wrap up, this has been COVID year. So that also has had a lot of impact on things for all of us, I'm sure. Agents across the world, agents across the country, California, you felt this. So hopefully 2021, I'm gonna be optimistic. 2021 will be better. We'll be doing better. And my goal is at some point in the first quarter of the year, maybe the first half of the year, sell my first house. I believe when I sell my first house and I go through the process of doing it, then I'll get my feet in it and I'll feel a lot more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Once I get the experience. So I am all positive, all optimistic, looking forward to next year. And I will document it. I will document my open houses. I will document my showings. I will try to document as much of this journey, because this is my real estate journey. And I hope by me sharing it that an up-and-coming agent can learn from my mistakes, learn from my successes, and we can grow together, and we can just be positive, optimistic, and successful together. I know this video is longer than my normal videos, but I had so much to say. I wish everybody a happy New Year's. May it be prosperous, may it be good, may it be safe, may it be loving. And as I always say, I love you and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.